Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. And thank you for joining us for our second round of Industries Live. My name is Chris Niederman. I'm the Managing Director for Industries and Solutions Worldwide, all those teams. And for those of you who don't know what Industries Live is, we gather a community of AWS customers and partners who are looking for solutions to their pain points in the industry and offer conversations covering the full informational spectrum from level 100 to level 400, from curious college students to C-suite decision makers. And be sure to tune in regularly because we stream every other Tuesday from 8 to 9 a.m. Pacific time, and we alternate between various industries. We're right now focused on media entertainment. We're going to do FSI, and we'll cover a few others today. So today, I'm really curious, like who's out there and where are you dialing in from? Where are you watching from? Give us, make sure you let us know that you're actually live and out there. We love the interaction. You thought this was going to be a passive session. We actually have some audience participation. So let's take a look at the comments and see where everyone's joining from. And have you ever joined a Partners Live or Industry Live stream before? So while they're doing that, like I said, I'm your co-host, and with that is another smiling face there, Stuart Lepkowsky. Why don't you introduce yourself, my co-host friend?
Thank you, Chris. I'm Stuart Lepkowsky. I'm a partner and development specialist, and I work on Chris's team, and I oversee the strategy for partners for telco, media entertainment, games, and sports. I want to give a quick shout out, Chris. We have friends from Brooklyn, Ukraine, Chicago, India. Everybody's dialing in today. I love it.
I love it. Ukraine, India. I mean, it's almost like we should give a reward for whoever's dialing in from the furthest away, depending
Oh,
upon what
look,
time zone they're in.
I see Paris. Amazing.
Awesome. Paris, Chicago. Well, Chicago's my hometown, by the way. Before I moved here 11 years ago to rainy Seattle, it is just coming down in sheets right now. Love Chicago. Don't like the sub-zero weather and the snow though. So Stuart, why don't you get us going here as
Sure.
we kick things off?
Sure. Hey, Brooklyn. So, Chris, we have a great show today on focus mostly on the sports and the media world. And our first guests today are from a company called TVU Networks. Let's bring our friends from TVU on.
Hi everyone. Hi Chris.
Welcome, welcome. So
Stuart.
today's theme, and I'll do a quick intro of our friends. So today's theme is going to be around the Paris Olympics. And from TVU Networks, we have two of our great friends, Yoni Tayar, VP of Marketing, and Fernando Pinto, the Head of Solutions in EMEA. Gentlemen, introduce yourself and TVU Networks, please.
Sure, thanks. So nice to see everyone connecting at this time. TVU Network, we are like a company doing live video solution for 20 years now, and mainly helping in sports, news, delivering live video solution in any kind of possible way. And today we'll dive deep into what we've done with France Television, the host broadcaster of the Olympics, around the entire event that happened last year in Paris.
Excellent, excellent. And Fernando?
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. So I'm Fernando Pinto, so I'm head of solutions. And basically what I'm doing, it's being, staying in the middle of our users and customers' needs, and then trying to, pull up, amazing solutions using different tools, cloud-based, technology, okay, for production. So happy to be here. Thanks.
Excellent. By the way, I'm just looking at the chat. I'm cracking up over EP. I don't know who EP is, but yes, cloud providers are now doing shows, and hopefully these are of value to you. And I don't even want to comment about the breakdancer. That's good, EP. Keep them coming.
We didn't pick the breakdancer. All right, gentlemen. So amazing event, the Olympics, and you guys covered the torch relay. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that. Let's talk about the torch relay. Give us a little background on that and tell us what you did there.
Sure. So the torch relay, many people maybe don't really look at it because it used to not be really broadcasted because it was crazy to broadcast. It's something that happened before the Olympic, from the moment the torch leaves Athens and goes to the destination. So in 3 years, it will be the US, LA. Now it was in Paris. So the torch was doing like a 3.5 months course throughout all the French territories, like to show the torch and the flame, the Olympic flame, to every possible places, even the outer seas islands, like all around the world that are like French territories. And basically, the Olympic committees asked France Television as a hot broadcaster for the first time ever to cover that torch relay 24/7. And France TV first reaction was like, okay, this is not really possible because to cover an event like that, you need crazy means. It's like a Tour de France, but in like 6 times longer, 7 times longer than the Tour de France. And basically, money-wise, it's not possible. Environment-wise, it's not possible. You cannot have a plane following the torch relay all over the world like 24/7. So they came to like AWS and TVU to see how we could like make something more sustainable, more cost efficient, but still like broadcast quality to give the world like a live interaction with the torch relay. So that's to give you some background.
Yoni, how did you run in it? Like, did you have a chance to run in it?
So I did run in many places because I just love the thing. So the first time I was in Toulouse, like where we had all the rugby players, and it was pretty fun. And I also joined a lot of time in Paris. It was pretty amazing. Like
That's awesome.
to be honest, the crowd was so crazy and ecstatic that was the best part of it. I didn't think the impact would be that big. And even if we talk about viewership, in the end, they got like 50 million views just in France. So it's pretty insane. Like, so for that torch relay, which is something that used to not be broadcasted before. So
that is amazing. Why don't you guys dive a little bit deeper into the architecture, how you did that and how cloud differentiated? And let's really go deep in sustainability. It is amazing some of the numbers that we're talking about here. So let's go there and talk about that a bit. By the way, a quick shout out to Josephina and Rini and Vias from Paris as well.
Got a big Paris following today. I love it.
yeah, I love the big up Snoop comment. Like we actually have like some nice video when he carried the flame. That was pretty fun. That was dope.
EP's on fire today. I love it.
Well, Fernando, I let you talk about the solution aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Johnny. So basically, it was it was very simple. We just work with the guys from France TV, and we put in place the PCR, the fully cloud-based PCR um, you know instance, right? And then we were capturing all the feeds, live feeds from different locations, right? From the convoys, because they have convoys following the torch. And basically we have 8 camera feeds going into our cloud system. And of course, in order to do that and to be on the move, we were using our own transmission protocol, which is called ISX. So basically all the transmitters are aggregating multiple links, multiple connectivity links. And we use Starlink on one side, and then a private 5G cable on the other side, and then of course public 5G services. So the packs and the transmitter are aggregating all together to get a smooth transmission, right? So once we have all that in the production stage, the the group from from France TV was adding graphics, switching cameras, and doing the audio mixing, and all that. That is part of the production. And then we were sending that output to our TVU channel, right, which was a Blade one, right?
Did you guys run that over? Was that over 5G? How did you transmit from the camera to the cloud? What was the connection? I know you use your own protocol, but what was
Yeah. So we were using both, right? We were using public 5G, and then we were creating, our own 5G bubble, which is, the standalone 5G, right? So we were using basically our own, which is, of course, the gateway to the internet was Starlink. It was a maritime, unit. So we were getting, multiple links to do the transmission. Pretty smooth transmission, by the way, right? So cameras were not using, of course, cables, and were wandering around, getting crowd shoots, following, and giving us great shots during the move, right? And we were, on top of that, is something that I wanted to clarify and to comment on. It's, well, when we first meet with the production team, so technology is there, technology is great, right? We have the proper tools, right? But one important thing was, you know, work with the operator's user experience, right? Because it's so much different when you take a look at it, when you look at it. But, our main focus was to get basically the same user experience, from the legacy broadcast systems, right? So not only we were using the cloud, tools, but also we were giving them physical control panels, right? And
Right.
we worked a lot, with them. So key element, during those days at the beginning was make sure that all the operators, multiple shifts during the days, were getting the proper user experience, right?
And that's super, Fernando. I love that because if you think about Amazon's leadership principles, we start with customer obsession and we always work backwards from the customer, the user. So an enhanced user
Exactly.
experience is absolutely critical to everything we do when we have our solutions for our customers.
Yeah,
Hey, a
exactly.
quick question from Duncan, maybe to you: is the torch relay available to see on YouTube in its entirety?
It's a good question to ask France Television. No, like it is not available on YouTube to watch entirely, which would be a lot of hours because we're talking about like 80 days of live coverage up to 12 hours per day. So that would be a very long TV show.
Yeah.
But definitely, there are a lot of highlights that France TV has compiled along the way that are available. But I will go back to France TV and let them know that there are some people that want to watch it in its
I'm
entirety.
telling you, Duncan will
Great show.
binge watch this. I can tell. They just binge the whole thing.
But one thing that can be good, if you allow us to share the workflow that can explain a bit better what Fernando was talking about, just for everyone to understand, normally to cover this kind of event, I'm talking about what we are doing today for event like a Tour de France or like Vuelta in Spain, etc. This kind of big bike race is you always have an airplane that is flying over the race to be able to provide the signal. You also have additional helicopters that provide like additional signal to allow the satellite transmission back to a remote studio. For the Tour de France, it's France TV. Other brand, it's other things. But the setup is a bit crazy. And what Fernando was explaining is that we worked together with Obvious, TDF, France TV. It's been a partnership of many
Yeah.
providers to build like a really reliable 5G bubble that was just put into one of the car of the convoy. So we didn't even have to add any more vehicle. There was already, it was the police officer, like the chief of police in the convoy, that basically put that 5G bubble in the car. That's how it looked in the car. It's just fitting in the trunk. And on the top of the car, we had like 5G antenna and the Starlink as well to send back the signal from all the TV transmitter to the remote location, like to the studio in France TV. And what we were saying about the operators is like this is how the whole production looked like, which is insane. If you've ever seen a control room, it looks normally very fancy and crazy and big. And here, what France TV was able to do is just take a meeting room and put some laptops and screens and bring their USB device to operate like a real broadcast, but everything in the cloud. The intercom, the switching, the production, the playout, you name it, the graphics, the everything, the audio mixing that you see on the left. Like this is the playout room. We also had the commentaries. The remote commentaries were made also remotely. 100% everything remote. So that's just, I mean, we don't have to show more this slide, but it's just to say, like, I think that the best story out of it is when we started working with France TV on that project. The first meeting we had was together with like a few like directors at France TV and also operators. And they were right away kind of fighting during the meeting. They were like, there is no way we're going to do that in the cloud. Like, there is no way we're going to do and do this kind of event. So it's been a real partnership, and like Chris mentioned, like customer obsessed. Like we were working with the operators every day to make sure that we can like have like seamless operations so that they really feel comfortable using all these ecosystems for like a 4 months period. So it's been really a good learning experience on every side, like partners, customers. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, the edge component of this is very interesting because in the cloud adoption, one of the big transitions we go through is the operators, and the fact that you won the hearts and minds of the operators, pretty incredible. And
Yeah.
it's really tells the story about how we're transitioning from the traditional world to really what's going on in the cloud. Now we've extended out into this field where we can actually follow live events across the city. It's just really incredible. Lots of people are asking, about how interesting this is. Somebody wrote, "Cool, describe more about the solution and dive a little bit deeper." Let's talk about sustainability for a minute. I mean, the numbers, Chris, here are off the chart. I have not seen anything like this yet. Let's go there for a minute.
Sure. I mean, like maybe people can guess, like in the chat, but like how many like tons do you think like we've been able to save by moving to a cloud workflow? Like
Yeah.
it's a big number. So I wonder like what you guys can come up with the chat, and I'll give the answer in 10 seconds. But basically, if we talk on the transmission side, so the fact that we've been able to remove airplanes and helicopters and do everything entirely with a little 5G bubble, we saved more than 600 tons of CO2 emissions. So that's insane. Okay. And if we talk about the production side, which is like we didn't need to have trucks following the relay to do the production on site. We didn't need to have the team also because 4 months production, 4 months of production, you need to have the team switching every week and like moving over to the place where we need to film. Sometimes it can be in Haiti and sometimes it can be in Republican Dominican. I mean, like all these French territories, everything was able to be done like from a studio where everybody's working in Paris anyway. So there was no cost of travels. And so even on the production side, we've been able to save like more than 10 tons of CO2 on the 4 months. So in total, we are talking about close to 610 tons of CO2 saved on that project, which is insane.
That's an amazing number, really amazing. Do you guys, when you didn't do it in the cloud and you did things like this before, you were mentioning like lots of vehicles moving around and doing things like this. Go a little bit deeper into your truck operation. I mean, there's a lot of questions coming in on about how this worked and what did you do inside the truck a little more. Maybe we can dive a little bit deeper and just go technical for a minute. I think there's a lot of interest out there on how this operated, how it worked, and there's a lot of interest in how to replicate this, right? A lot of our partners and customers are asking us, how do we do this again? And how do we do this with you?
Yeah. So sorry, first, like replying to EP, I didn't say Haiti, but Tahiti, which is a French territory. Sorry. Sorry, Stuart. Can you repeat like the end of your question?
Yeah, so let's go a little bit deeper into what in the operation of the truck that you guys built. I mean, it's a cloud truck. It's so interesting and very innovative. Let's talk about the cloud truck. For those who don't know, typically when you go to a live event, you see lots and lots of trucks. Those are actually data centers inside the truck. It's a full data center. There's multiple of those trucks around, wired up and cabled. You'll see satellite and you'll see terrestrial. So let's talk about your truck a little bit because I think it's a really interesting play and others want to learn more about this.
Go, Fernando.
Yeah. So, basically for the cloud PCR, only just 3 seats. Okay. It was an office that we put together, with, computers and screens and just 3 seats. One, for the TD, which is the one that was, switching the cameras and talking back to the, the field operators, right? And then one for the audio shuffling and audio mixing, right? And one which was, the producer at that time to just, controlling the graphics and calling the shots, etc., etc. That was the PCR basically. And then we had another office with the commentator of the event because all these 12 hours a day, you had a commentary on top. That was a one seat, one laptop, and that's it, right? And for covering the 24/7 operation, it was another office with another 3 seats for play out operators, the one that was switching live and then the one that was just creating the scheduling and a third seat that was just controlling, the content rights, right? And that was it.
Wow,
Nothing more.
it's pretty amazing. What does it typically look like? What's the size of a staff off cloud look like? I would imagine we're into like
For
dozens.
for an operation like this, I would say 100 people.
Yeah, easily, right? And we have it
Yeah,
down to less. It sounds like less than 10, right?
yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly. Yeah,
absolutely incredible. I
and
can really see
and it
the
was,
emission savings from how we did all this is amazing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And at the beginning, we just took some time to do the trainings. That was super easy to do, and to get a lot of feedback from them, and then we went from there. But that was it. That was it. Okay.
Amazing.
So
Now,
you need to imagine also, how you can get rid of all the logistics parts
right.
when you don't have all that much of hardware, and tons of equipment deployed in multiple places and different regions. So you need to account for that as well. So yeah, less than 10 people.
Chris, you see these numbers? 11 billion new viewers, 11 million.
No.
That's crazy, and that's exactly what we want. And hopefully, it's a better experience, and so you're going to draw people in. And I don't know if you folks check the comments, but there's a lot of great questions about how did this come together. And I don't know if you have the answer on this, Yoni or Fernando, but which tool? Somebody asked how which tool was used to mix the audio commentator, and so I don't know if you have that
Yeah,
answer off the top of your head or
it,
not.
yeah, it's called TVU Remote Commentator, and that's it. That is a powerful tool. Okay, you can bring in any commentator, any commentary service from any part in the world, and that's it.
That's
And
outstanding.
a key element to this tool, it's that everybody sees exactly the same video frame at the same time. So you don't need to deal with delays coming in, coming out, and get all desynchronized, right? That is something that at a technology level we handle pretty well. So every frame is synchronized, so people doesn't need to struggle with waiting to get heard and listen to the audio feedback or all that kind of stuff. That is, it's controlled and handled by the TVO remote commentator.
Excellent. And we have somebody asking if you have a video demo.
We can share that. We don't have one right
Yeah.
now for the show, but we can share that at the end of the.
Yeah, we
for
can
you guys.
post. Yeah, we can post the link back
We will
in.
we will
Yeah.
follow that. We'll take that as a follow-up action item. And
Yeah.
so
Definitely.
Of course.
speaking of
But
action items, and I'm going to surprise you a little bit, Fernando and Yoni here maybe. Um, for the folks who are listening in here, what would be a good call to action? Like what would be a takeaway that you'd recommend that anybody who's really interested in this, what do they do next?
well, reach out to AWS and TVU. No, like number one, but like the biggest challenge that we see, it's really in the mentality of people, because you
Yeah.
asked Chris before, how did it happen? Like what made it work and happen? It's really first like credits to France Television for wanting to break the mold and go like outside of the box, because nobody thought that producing a tier one sport event was possible in the cloud. Nobody thought
Mm-hmm.
of that. The second thing is really to be with a good partner. Like this cannot work without a solid partner relationship. Like in the cloud world, it is not anymore like a vendor giving you a tool and good luck. It is really a partnership, because there is so much variable that needs to be accounted for, that for a big project of that scale, it needs to be like partnership and the feedback loop. So that's to me like the two most important things. It works. We've proven it many times that it works for major event. Last year, the BBC did the UK election as well, using entire cloud-based workflow. So it's like crazy major event. The AWS cloud services are very reliable and very stable. So it's really a partnership that makes this happen. That's to me like partnership is the biggest takeaway if anyone wants to do that again and replicate that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and let me just add a quick thing, and also for the people that comes from broadcast, I'm come from broadcast as well. So we can create any type of redundancy level that it's needed. Okay, because that was another thing that France TV team wanted to have, right? And you can just deploy multiple instances in different regions, diverse regions, and then we can create different logics to doing the failover, right? So we can also give the level of security that these type of events needs, right? So it's super flexible. Okay.
Excellent, guys. There's lots of comments about the length of how long it took. That it went over days to actually a couple of days to do this, and it's just incredible. With the, I always love to call the magic of television, right? And you can take this incredible event, right? Apply this cloud technology we now have at AWS with our partners, compress that, and give our consumers a great experience. 11 million viewers, 610 tons of carbon emissions saved, just absolutely incredible. I would encourage visitors. We've also done some other things with the TVU Networks. If you happen to be in the New York area during the hockey season and you go to the UBS Arena, TVU is actually running the live replay in the arena on the Islanders app. There's a couple of links out there. We'll share those as well. So you can actually see the TVU live experience at 42 different games throughout the year as well. So additional work we had done with them. And there's other things they're doing, obviously, across the globe with live events and replay and streaming. And really, I would say minimizing the footprint of the truck, Chris, is really innovative and industry changing.
It's huge. It's a really big deal. And hey, I want to come back to our friend EP again here. He's single-handedly keeping this thing like interactive. But I do love the question. All kidding aside, so he says France is a huge hip hop market. If you could partner with any content creators based in France for transparency, he's a American hip hop artist. What I like about this question is we have a use case here. What other use cases could we apply your technology, your solutions, your offerings? And this is just one, like applying to the hip hop market. Where else could we use this?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question, and also you're talking about like you being an artist. So I'll go more maybe on the streamer space. Today we work with the very famous streamers as well. I mean, like you maybe seen recently iShowSpeed, which is like probably the #1 streamer today on the planet, at the WWE the catch, like the wrestling in the US. And he was just like in the crowd engaging with the fighters and stuff, and all that was live streamed. So allowing also the WWE to gain more like popularity on the streaming and younger like space and audience. So today it's not really about the solution anymore. It's like the solution are out there. It's really about like your creativity. Like what do you want to do? Like any crazy creative idea. I mean, we've done like throwing a car through a cliff. And live stream with the pack in the car and stuff. I mean, we've done some crazy stuff, but we didn't come with the idea. It's really like we have like the tool set, and it's any kind of crazy idea can be created now. Like it's the power of the cloud. It's very adaptable. It's very flexible, so you can easily like create any kind of live work.
Excellent. That's great. Stuart, why don't you bring us home here because we're at time.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Yoni, Fernando, TVU Networks. It was great having you here today. We look forward to doing more things with you, diving deeper, raising the bar as we do at AWS, and obsessing over our customers, bringing them incredible cloud technology with incredible partners. Thank you, Chris Niederman. Thank you, TVU Networks.